Hello children, today we are going to discuss a very technical topic, probably the most technical topic from current electricity chapter, Kirchhoff's laws. There was a physicist, his name was Carl Gustav Kirchhoff, and he developed a beautiful relation among currents and potentials. The two laws that we will be discussing, they are together known as Kirchhoff's laws. Okay, the first law is called junction law. Junction law or first law. You can also call it junction law. Popularly it is also called Kirchhoff's current law or Kirchhoff's current law, and we call it KCL. Now, as the name implies, this law relates with currents at a junction. Now, what is a junction? A junction is a point where more than two currents will meet. We will come to this later on. And then we have second law. Second law, also called current first loop law, also called mesh law, also called Kirchhoff's voltage law, KVL. So we have two laws. First one is called KCL, Kirchhoff's current law or first law. The second one is called loop law or Kirchhoff's voltage law, KVL. You can call with any of these names. So let's understand what exactly is junction law. Okay, children, junction, we must understand what is a junction. Junction law or Kirchhoff's current law, KCL. See children, junction is a point at which a number of currents will meet. In fact, more than two currents will meet. For example, a current which is coming like this is a point P, I assume, will go somewhere. Maybe it will go like this. In any direction it will go. So this is not exactly considered as a junction. We must have one more branch out here, right? So junction is a point at which more than two currents will meet. Understand? More than two currents will meet. For example, I assume there is a current I1 going towards P and there are two currents I2 and I3 going away from it. Right? We can have a scenario like this. Now this law states, actually this law is based on the principle of conservation of charges. The charges can neither be created nor destroyed. The law says that algebraic sum of currents meeting at a point is always zero. Algebraic sum, very important. Algebraic sum of currents meeting at a point is zero. Let's write the statement first. Algebraic sum of currents meeting at a point is zero. Algebraic sum of currents means you have to take current the proper sign. So you can also write this as sigma I equals to 0. This is the mathematical form. Let's see what will be a practical form. I will take a number of currents. A number of currents are meeting through resistance at a point. A number of currents. There is a point, suppose O, this is current I1, this is current I2, this is I3, this is I4 and this is I5. We have shown a number of currents meeting at point O, so obviously O is a junction. Now there is a sign convention. When you sigma I is equal to 0 and you have said algebraic sum, algebraic means it has to be taken with the proper sign, so you have to decide which is positive and which is negative. So sign convention is like this. You can choose actually on sign convention also. Currents going towards will take positive. Currents which are going towards will take as positive, and currents which are going away will take what? Negative. So if I use this, so I towards will be taken as positive and I away will be taken as negative. This is one convention. You can also take away as positive and towards as negative, but please follow only one particular convention in a given problem. Don't change it, right? So I am going to take I towards, current towards the junction as positive, away from the junction as negative. Let us make use of this. I1 is going towards, so what will I take? Plus. I2 is going away, you can see, I will take minus. I3 is going away, I will take minus again. I4 is going away, right? So I4 is also minus. But I5 is going towards, I will take it plus, and that will be equal to 0. So what we did, once again we will understand. Current going towards will take positive and current going away will take what? Negative. So I1 is positive towards, I2 is away negative, I3 is away negative, I4 is away negative, but I5 is towards, it will be positive. If I put positive on one side and negative on the other side, then I get I1 plus I5 is equal to I2 plus I3 plus I4. So if you look at this, then I1 and I5 both are going towards, I2, I3 and I4 all three going away. So this law can also put mathematically like this, that I towards is equal to sigma I away. This is also your practical form which you can remember. Sum of currents going towards the junction is equal to sum of currents going away from the junction. So children, make sure you understand it. This is the first law, algebraic sum of currents meeting at point is how much? 0. Let's give values here. Suppose I have a network of currents. This is one current, this is another current, this is yet another current. This is I minus 5, this is 10, this is 5, and this is 3 minus 2I. This is 0.2. Clear? And then we have a question here from this diagram. Calculate the value of I. So I can simply make use of this convention. This convention says current going toward the junction is equal to current going away from the junction. I will put signs going away, towards, going away, and this is going towards. Clear? Now I need to calculate, let's put this is going away because I's will be going away only, and I will put this is going away and 5 ampere is going towards, right? Now if I use this convention, sigma I towards is equal to sigma I away. So how many currents are going towards? Let's see. I minus 5 is going towards O. Make sure you are understanding it. Next, 5 is going towards. Now how many currents are going away? 2 currents are going away. One is 10 and the other is 3 minus 2I. So plus 5 minus I will what? Cancel out. So what is left on the left hand side, children? I 13 minus 2I. Yes. Now bring minus 2I in the left hand side becomes plus. I plus 2I is equal to 13. So 3I is equal to how much? 13. Then I is equal to how much? 13 by 3. So the first law can be very easily utilized by us, okay, by using sigma I is equal to 0 or sigma I towards is equal to sigma I away. Both the conventions are basically same. Currents going toward the junction is equal to currents going away from the junction, and the first law is based on the principle of conservation of charges. So we understood what is junction law. Now children will be doing the second law, which is a more complicated law, and we often see students making mistakes when they are utilizing making use of the second law. And second law will be very extensively used in doing sums. So we have Kirchhoff's loop law. This is which law? Kirchhoff's loop law, second law. We also call it Kirchhoff's voltage law, KVL. Now children, a circuit has got many elements in it. A circuit has got many elements. First of all, what is a loop? A loop is any closed path followed by, now second law, Kirchhoff's loop law is also called Kirchhoff's voltage law, KVL, right? So what is a loop? Here you have shown so many loops. A closed path followed by current is called loop. See here, this is a loop. I can call this loop A, B, C, A, right? And the loop we have A, C, D, A. Yet another loop we have B, E, D, B. And if you wish, then you have a fourth loop, outer loop A, B, E, D, A. So there are four loops in it. Once again, this is one loop, this is another loop, we have yet another loop here, and then we have outer loop, right? Any closed path followed by current is called loop. We also call it mesh. So any closed loop, if you look at, it will have resistances and will have cells or batteries, right? For example, suppose I think of a circuit like this. This is a resistance R1 and it is having a battery. There is a branch going out here. Then you have another one. This is R2. Here we have another battery. Now there is another branch here. Then again we have a third resistance R3, and then we have another battery having EMF E3. This is E2, and then there are more branches on either side, right? So this is one particular loop we have in consideration, right? Now every loop has elements, loop elements means resistances and cells or batteries. So I'll be using elements in a loop. Elements in a loop means what? Resistances and cells or batteries. Clear? Now what the law says? The law says that if you add potential difference across all the elements in a loop, then the algebraic sum will be how much? 0. It says like this: algebraic sum of potential difference across elements of a loop is equal to 0, and potential difference is denoted by what? V. So sigma V will be equal to 0. We write its practical form like this, or sigma IR plus sigma E is equal to 0. So this is mathematical form. Sigma V is equal to 0 or sigma IR plus sigma E is equal to 0, where we are using this term algebraic sum, means you have to take proper sign convention. Now the next convention which I am teaching you must understand very nicely, otherwise you will make a mistake. Now what is convention for IR? Convention for IR. What convention will you be using for IR? You see, when a current is flowing in a circuit, here I do not know exactly how the current will flow. I can assume randomly that this is current I3, this is current I2, and this is current, this is I1 and this is current I2. I will not be wasting time in finding out what exactly will be the direction of currents. I can choose any direction that will please me. Remember, I may make a mistake when I am taking direction of currents, but suppose I solve I1 and I get I1 is equal to minus 2 ampere. I get I1 is equal to how many amperes? Minus 2 amperes. That means current is actually 2 amperes. Here I have taken the current to be anti-clockwise and minus 2 means it is clockwise. So there is no problem. You can just assume any direction and then you can get started with solution. Numerical will be same, only it could be negative. If it is negative, that means you have used wrong direction, but the answer will be taken as correct, right? What is sign convention? Now when you use Kirchhoff's second law, the KVL, then make sure there is a very important term, is called direction of calculation. Direction of calculation. By direction of calculation, I mean that I am going to assume that current in a certain direction is the major current. If I mark it like this, that means I am considering clockwise current as positive. And if the current is in opposite direction, I will be taking the current as what? Negative. Very important. So first I will have to mark is direction of calculation. Suppose I mark direction of calculation as clockwise, and then you see in a circuit current is here. Suppose I have a situation like this in which I find current is going like this and I mark like this as positive. If I mark clockwise current as positive, then IR will be taken as what? Negative. So convention for IR, suppose this is the positive direction of current that I have assumed, and current through a resistance R is going like this, then IR will be taken as plus. IR will be taken plus. If current is in the same direction that I have taken as what? Positive, then IR will be taken as what? Positive. However, suppose I took this as positive and then suppose I took clockwise positive, this resistance R and current is going like this, then I will be taking IR as negative. So current in direction of calculation will be taken as positive and current in opposite direction will be taken as what? Negative. Clear? So what will you say? Current in direction of calculation is taken as positive. So IR will be what? Positive. But opposite direction will be taken as what? Negative. So you understood the sign convention for IR, don't make any mistakes. I said that assume a certain current to be positive. For example, if I say that clockwise current is positive, I mark like this becomes my direction of calculation. Then current which is in the clockwise direction I will be taking as positive. So IR will be positive. Yes, here clearly write it down. And if the current is in the anti-clockwise direction, I will take in the what? With negative sign. Now, what is sign for? Sign for E. What will be the sign convention for E? Remember, if we take current from positive to negative, if I am moving from positive to negative, if I am going like this, then E will be taken with the what sign? Positive sign. If I am going from positive to negative, I will take current as what? Positive. And if I am going from negative to positive, I will take E as negative. So you got all the sign convention. Once again, EMF current in direction of calculation will be taken with positive sign and opposite direction will be taken with what sign? Negative sign. If your direction of calculation is from positive to negative, then EMF will be taken with what sign? Positive sign. And if it is from negative to positive, will be taken with what? Negative sign, right? So once you have understood this convention, right? Once you understood this convention, then I'll be making use of this. Let's see. I'll name this loop A, B, C, D. Here I've got a loop A, B, C, D, A. Let's try to use this. In loop A, B, C, D, A. Let's use this in the second line, this loop, children. I am going to mark direction of calculation as clockwise, right? I am going to use loop law in loop A, B, C, D, A. Let's say this again, sign convention. IR will be positive in the direction of calculation. If current is in the direction of calculation, then will be taken the positive sign, opposite direction will be taken as negative. And if you are moving from positive to negative, while calculating, our direction calculation is for positive to negative, we will be taking this as what? Positive. Negative to positive will be taken with what sign? Negative sign. Let's use it, children. I am moving in the anti-clockwise direction, clockwise direction. From A I will move to B, B I will move to C, C I will move to D, and D I will move to A. Let's see how many currents are positive. If you look at I1, I1 are marked in this direction, is opposite to the direction which are moving. You can see clockwise are moving and this current is anti-clockwise. So I1 R1 will be taken with what sign? Negative sign. So I will be writing minus I1 R1. Okay. Because I am going to use this sequence sigma IR plus sigma I is equal to 0. So first I will be writing sigma IR and then I will be writing sigma I. Now let us look at R2. Now R2 is having current I2 which is clockwise. It is in the same direction as my direction of calculation. See, clockwise, this current is also coming down clockwise. So this will be taking the positive sign plus I2 R2. Now come to I3 now. You can see this current is also going in the what direction? Clockwise direction. So this will be positive, right? Again. Now we'll put sign for the EMF. As I'm moving here, let's start with R2. As I'm moving from A to B, then I'm going from negative to the positive terminal of the battery. So by your convention, this will be what? Negative EMF. This is E1. So I'll be writing minus E1. When I'm moving here from B to C, I'm going from positive to negative terminal. So it will be positive. And then I'm moving here across from C to A through resistance R. Then I'm going from negative to positive. So this will be negative. So minus E3 is equal to 0. So see, this completes our equation sigma IR plus sigma E is equal to 0, and the sign convention I hope by now you have understood properly. So when you are handling this problem, remember this diagram. Current in the direction of calculation will be taken with a positive sign, opposite will be negative. And then there you can see, when I will be moving from positive to negative terminal, EMF will be taken with a positive sign, and then negative to positive will be taken with what sign? Negative sign. Positive to negative EMF will be positive, negative to positive will be negative, right? Okay. Now once you understood this, we are going to solve a numerical problem which I have already got on the board given by students earlier. So we will be solving this very easy problem. The circuit is already given to you, current distribution is also given, but don't think that it will be given all the time. Many times you have to do the current distribution yourself. Let's start this. Okay, children. Now let's use what you have learnt. Question: calculate currents I1, I2 and I3 from the given diagram. So as you proceed, we will assume a certain direction of current is positive. That will be direction of our calculation, right? Now I will be using the loop A, B, C, A. In loop A, B, C, A, remember that I am not going to use the first law because we have already done distribution taking into account currents at different junctions. So I will not be using the first law in loop A, B, C, A. Now when I am using second law, children, remember that current in the direction of my calculation will be positive. So clockwise currents will be positive, anti-clockwise currents will be negative. So let us look at this. I2 is positive, I2 plus I3 is positive and I1 is positive. All the currents are positive in this case. So let us start. We have, remember you are going to write sigma IR plus sigma E is equal to 0. This is what you are going to write, the second law is. So I2 is the current going through 4 ohm and is positive. So we have I2 into 4 plus I2 plus I3 is current through 2 ohms. Then what do we get? We have I2 plus I3 into 2. Now as you go from C to A, this current is also in the positive direction. So I1 into 1, I1 into 1. Now we will talk about the battery. As I am going from C to A, I am going from negative to positive, and you know this is taken as negative. So minus 10 equals to 0. Let us quickly condense this equation. 4I2 plus 2I2 plus 2I3 plus I1 minus 10 is equal to 0. And what do we get, children, here? I1 plus 6I2 plus 2I3 is equal to 10. This is our equation 1. I1 plus 6I2 plus 2I3 is equal to 10. Now let's take the next loop. In loop A, C, D, A. Again same convention we are using. My direction of calculation is clockwise. So clockwise current will be positive. When I look at this, then I1 is negative. I1 minus I2 is negative. See, these two currents are anti-clockwise, but this current here I2 plus I3 minus I1 is positive. Okay. So let us start. Minus I1 into 1 minus I1 into 1. Now we come to this current I2 minus I1 minus I2 is also negative, minus I1 minus I2 into 4. But this current I2 plus I3 minus I1 is positive. This is a clockwise current, yes. So we take I2 plus I3 minus I1, I2 plus I3 into 2. Now when you look at the battery, children, we are going like this, right? So I am going from positive to negative, and positive negative is what? Positive. So I will say plus 10 is equal to 0. So what do you get here? Minus I1 minus 4I1 plus 4I2 plus 2I2 plus 2I3 minus I1 is equal to minus 10, right? Now we simplify. Minus I1 and minus I1, 2I1 minus 2I1, yes. So minus I1 minus 4I1 minus 2I1 is minus 7I1. Now I2 we have 6I2 plus 2I3 is equal to minus 10. Now I will make the first term as positive. So we will multiply both sides with minus 1. So what do you get here? 7I1 minus 6I2 minus 2I3 is equal to plus 10. So this is children equation 2. We got the second equation, and for third equation we can go to any of the loops. I will go to loop B, C, D, B. Remember there are 4 loops. One loop is A, B, C, A. The other loop is A, C, D, A. Third loop is B, E, D, B. And the fourth loop is A, B, E, D, A. Right? So I am going to take this loop B, E, D, B. Okay? So I will say here in loop B, E, D, B. You must end with the letter that you start with, because the loop is always closed. When I look at this loop, then children, I find that all the current, this current is negative, this current is negative, this current is negative, right? So let's start writing. Minus, this current is how much of I2 plus I3, I2 plus I3 into 2. Now this current is also negative, minus I2 minus I2 plus I3 minus I1 into 2. Children, as you are going from here, of course this branch has no resistance. Now I am going from negative to positive. Negative to positive, when you move actually clockwise, what? This is how I am going, but these currents are negative. I am going like this. So when I am going from positive to negative terminal of the battery. So here EMF will be taken with the what sign? Positive sign. Plus 5 is equal to how much I have? 0. Right? Because my direction of calculation as I move across this loop is from positive terminal to the negative terminal of the battery, and that is being taken with the positive sign. Okay? So let us see here, minus 2I2 minus 2I3 minus 2I2 minus 2I3 plus 2I1 plus 5 is equal to how much of children? 0. Okay? Minus 2I2 minus 2I3 minus 2I2 minus 2I3 plus 2I2, again arrange it, 2I1 minus 2I3 minus 2I3 is what? Minus 4I3, right? And then I2 and I2 minus 4I2 is equal to minus 5. Clear? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 terms. This is equation 3. Now children, let's rewrite this again in the proper order. 2I1 minus 4I2 minus 4I3 is equal to minus 5. So children, we have to solve these equations in 3 variables, 3 linear equations, I1, I2 and I3. There are many ways in which you can solve. I can add equation 1 and 2 and cancel out I3, and then again I can cancel out I3 from equations 2 and 3. So what I will do is adding 1 and 2. Now if you add 1 and 2 children, equation 1 is I1 plus 6I2 plus 2I3 is equal to 10. When I look at this equation, 7I1 minus 6I2 minus 2I3 is equal to again 10. If I added these two cancel out, these two cancel out. Yes. So we have 8I1 is equal to 20. So I1 is equal to 20 by 8. So 4 2s are 4 5s are 5 by 2 ampere. So I calculated how much is I1. Simply by adding, you can see that I2 and I3 terms are cancelling out. Okay. Now next what you will do is, once you got I1, I will put the value of I1 For example, in equation 1, from equation 1, if you go to equation 1 children, then what do we get? I1 we have got how much? 5 by 2. Let's put 5 by 2 into plus 6I2 plus 2I3 is equal to 10. So 6I2 plus 2I3 is equal to 10 minus 5 by 2. So 20 minus 15 by 2. So children, we got equation here 6I2 plus 2I3 is equal to 15 by 2. I'll say this is equation 4. Okay. Now once I've done this, again I'll put the value of I1 in equation 3. Because I've eliminated I1 now, I've already got the value of I1, I'll put this value in equation 3. So from equation 3, if I go to equation 3, put here I1 is equal to 5 by 2, then 2 into 5 by 2 minus 4I2 minus 4I3 is equal to minus 5. Children, this is cancelling out. Clear? Then what do you get here? 5 minus 4I2 minus 4I3 is equal to minus 5. Take this 5 on the other side, then what do you get? Minus 4I2 minus 4I3 is equal to minus 10. Right? Now this is equation 5. Remember children, the I1 we have already got as 5 by 2. Now what I will do is, I will drop this part and then I will eliminate I3 now. I will multiply equation 4 both sides by 2 and then add with equation 5. So using 2 into equation 4 plus equation 5. Now multiply both sides equation 5 or 4 by 2. So what do you get? 12 by 2 plus 4I3 is equal to 15, and then we get minus 4I2 minus 4I3 is equal to how much, children? Minus 10. Add these two are cancelling out. So what do we get here? 12 by 2 minus 8I2 is equal to how much? 5. Then I2 is equal to how much? 5 by 8. So I got how much is I2 also. Now I'll put this value of I2, for example, in equation 4. So here we'll say put the value of I2 in equation 4. Let's put the value of I2 in equation 4. Then you get 6I2 plus 2I3 is equal to how much? 15 by 2. 6 into 5 by 8 plus 2I3 is equal to 15 by 2. Cancel it. 2 3s are 2 4s are. So 15 by 4 plus 2I3 is equal to 15 by 2. Now take it on the right hand side. 2I3 is equal to 15 by 2 minus 15 by 4. So 2I3 is equal to how much we got? 15 by 4. So how much I3 we got? 15 by 8. So children, we have been able to calculate the values of I1, I2 and I3 very easily. So we can use Kirchhoff's second law and first law in complex circuits to calculate the unknown currents. Alright. So practice it. I will make another video in which I will be discussing many more applications of the second law and the first law. Okay. Thank you.